Hi guys, this is the White Candid, and today I want to share a little mod that I made for a game called Elite Dangerous. Now, if you're not aware of what it is, it's a space simulator game that just went out, I don't know, 1 week ago or something like that. And it's a really good game. However, as a flight sim, uh, um aficionado, if you will, uh, there's one thing that I found a little bit lacking in the game, and that's the capacity of zooming in and out in order to see objects from afar better. Some of you might say that it's kind of a cheat, and the best way to play such a game would be to have a very high res monitor. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, well, it's kind of true, but not everyone has the money to buy such a monitor. And also, I don't know if you guys have been aware of what's going on in the media these last days, but it seems that the Elite game is kind of like the poster child for the Oculus Rift and VR experiences in general. And it so happens that I have this DK1 Oculus kit plus a homemade rig that I made with cardboard and Nexus 7 so that I could benefit from a little bit higher resolution than the dev kit one. But I don't have a dev kit to answer any kind of question of that sort in the future. And as a DK1 user or a Nexus 7 hack Oculus user, one thing that struck my attention was that it's really hard to zoom in order to be able to make out the text in the game. The problem is that in the cockpit you have those menus on the left and the right, and it's a lot of text. And without the capacity of zooming in at least, I don't know, 50% or something like that for the Oculus DK1, when you start with a field of view of 90 degrees, it's basically unusable. Even if you scale up the resolution, it helps a little bit, but it's still pretty unusable. In my case, I don't even have the computer horsepower to do that anyway, so I was kind of desperate at this point because I really wanted to play the game inside of the Oculus Rift. For me, playing with a regular monitor doesn't really strike a chord with me. So instead of just sulking around, I decided to code a mod. So basically, I analyzed the executable of the game, which is here. I'm going to show you where it is. If this is the main folder for the Elite game, this is the official launcher. You go into products and then this folder over there, and you have your executable over there. So I basically analyzed this executable and I coded this little mod. Okay, now I'm going to show you how the mod works. So first of all, I'm going to open the main Frontier folder. This is where the game is actually installed. So you have ed launch, which is, in my case, this is how the main folder of the company Frontier Development is named, apparently. It was probably determined when I installed the game in the first place. So you have their official launcher here, and you have the executable that I was talking about before. So the thing that I basically hooked uh, into using my own mod. Anyway, so how it works is this. First of all, you have to understand that I'm mainly not playing with Oculus Rift because of its reduced resolution. So I play with something that's about 1.3 times better in terms of resolution and also a little bit more bright, so more color vibrancy into it. So it's basically my homemade Oculus kit using a Nexus 7. But to do that, obviously, I cannot use the official Oculus mode of the game. When you go into the game, I don't know if I can show you, but when you go into the game, let me, I don't know if I can just do this. Yeah, when you go into the game, you have a couple of options for video modes, and the main ones are, I think, for 3D is Anaglyph, SBS, and then there are two Oculus modes. Um, in my case, I don't have access to the two Oculus mode, even if my Oculus Rift is connected anyway. So I think it's a issue with the Oculus drivers. I tried to install the latest one with my DK1 and it completely failed. So it's really a finicky thing anyway. So I mean, I really prefer my own methodology uh, for this. So instead of using Oculus mode right there, I'm just going to the graphics, and as you can see, I'm okay. This is borderless because I'm video capturing right now, but usually this is in full screen mode so that it's faster. And I put this at side by side, and my SEP and focal distance is about here. So this is my settings. Now, I don't know if you tried to play before using only SBS mode, but it really doesn't look like this. What you see here is the result of something more than just a field of view toggler, if you will, but it's also the result of something called SweetFX, which I'm going to show you soon, which makes the warping for the Oculus Rift possible. I'm going to try to show you how it looks like without anything installed, so vanilla. So you have a good feel of the problems encountered when you try to use a fake Oculus. So when you don't have the Oculus mode enabled. Okay, I don't know if I have this. Let me find it. It's a software called RadeonPro. Here it is. Right now it's hooked to the Elite Dangerous game, so that's why you saw that the 3D effects were in fact accurate. And how I made it happen was something called SweetFX 1.4, modded for RadeonPro for Windows 8.1, and I actually wrote a new shader. So in main.h, I actually wrote a new shader that overrode what wasn't there before, and actually pre-warped the screen for the Oculus emulation mode. So that way I don't have to scale up my resolution or any hack of that sort. And I can also do a lot of cool things, such as compensating for the chroma aberration caused by the lens of the VR device. As you can see here, those are the chroma correction parameters that I put in place for my own device. Here are the barrel distortion parameters, etc. And you have the XY offset for the screen that I'm using, which is an Nexus 7, and the offset between the X and Y, and etc. So anyway, yeah, I basically coded my own shader inside of SweetFX in order to make this happen. So and I have to use RadeonPro to hook it up with my executable. So usually what you do is you go in here in RadeonPro, so you just download that. It's a free software, by the way. I put it in 32-bit mode because the game is 32-bit. SweetFX enabled, toggle scroll lock, and then I create a new profile like this. So I select my launcher, not the executable. No, actually, I'm sorry. I put the executable of the actual game in here. So the Elite Dangerous 32, which is in my case, as I said before, here. And I also put my own launcher, which is part of my mod thing, here, which I'm going to show you right now again. In my main Frontier game, my two mod executables are here. So the launcher here, which is responsible for launching the game without having to pass through the official launcher, and a mod here, which is hijacking the FOV parameter of the game. So going back here, so yeah, I have to put my own launcher here just to make sure that the RadeonPro is going to hook into the game no matter what. And that's really it. SweetFX. Actually, I'm going to launch the game again. I'm going to show you exactly how this looks. So please stand by. We're going to wait for this to boot up again. But yeah, basically there's a toggling switch, which is right now it's hooked to my scroll lock key. So I can actually show you how it looks with the mod and without. So see, this is without standard SBS mode. If you try to look into it using the Oculus Rift, it's basically unusable. I'm going to go into some training video here just to show you whatever. It doesn't really matter. Say launch. Um, but yeah, if you have an Oculus Rift right now, you can try to look into the screen, and you're going to see that the separation is wrong, and it's also stretched vertically by a factor of exactly 2. So yeah, a lot of things that have to be compensated using my SweetFX shader thing. Takes a while to load this thing up, apparently. Okay, here it is. So I'm going to toggle this so that you see the difference. See, this is toggled without and with. So with is it becomes pretty legible inside of the Oculus Rift, as you can see. Okay, I'm going back to where I was before. Um, when this executable, the main executable of the game is launched, and you run elite dangerous mod.exe, it's going to hook into the executable. It's going to know exactly what parameter was run. I'm sorry, for the game, and it's going to be able to hijack and change the FOV parameter at will using the hotkeys F1 to F5. And there's also a safeguard that I put in place. I'm going to try to explain to you what it is later, but it's basically to prevent people from cheating with it. I intended this mainly for Oculus users, so it remains so. So I'm going to show you the 5 zoom level. This is the default. The default of the game is something like 50 to 60 degrees. So when I press F1, this is 90 degrees. 90 degrees. F2, I believe it's 75. F3 is 50. F4 is 25, and F5 is 12.5 degrees. So F4 and F5 is really intended for Oculus users. People who have high resolution screens will not be able to leverage that mode. I put a safeguard in place for this. So the highest zoom levels for the Oculus Rift users is going to allow them to be on par with regular computer users. So that's really what my target for my mod was, more than anything else. And that's it, really, to run the mod. Well, there are a couple of other things that's also included in the mod. Among other things, it is able to launch the game without the official launcher. And why is that in place? Well, it's not that useful for a lot of people, but for me it is. And the reason why it is I'm trying to have the least latency as possible. And to do that, using my NVIDIA card, I have to use something called NVIDIA Game Stream. So I think it's a GeForce Experience. This is really how it's called. I don't know if I can show you GeForce. Trying to type with, here it is. Okay, GeForce Experience. But yeah, GeForce Experience is allowing you to stream your game into your Nexus device or any Android device for that matter. And the latency and frame rate is very good compared to stuff like I don't know, Splashtop, or some people use other devices as well, other piece of software. But for NVIDIA users, this is really the best. But the problem is that, first of all, it only works with full screen mode, and second of all, it's really limited how you set this up. Um, if you set up the executable Elite Dangerous 32.exe here, it actually works. But the problem is that it doesn't authenticate with the servers. So the Frontier server it's going to prevent you from playing the game because there's no validation token with the server. It's kind of like their DRM thing. I know it caused a lot of stir and trouble in the Kickstarter community for this because of the fact that they implement DRM via obliging you to pass through their servers. But yeah, in order to bypass that problem, which makes the game stream completely useless, I made this launcher. So when you launched, it actually reads the game's process command line parameters when you launch it from the official game launcher. And this has an embedded authentication token. I'm not going to show you the whole thing over there because it's actually mine. Um, and then it registers that number inside of an ini file, which the launcher is going to use afterwards to be able to bypass the official launcher. And so inside of your game stream, you put the Elite Dangerous Mod launcher over there, and it basically works. It logs into the server without having to put your username or password or anything like that, and it makes the game stream usable, thus making my fake Oculus Rift usable. So that's really the reason why I did it. But for users who just want to have a zoom mod for their DK1 kit, well, they already have an Oculus, so they don't need game stream, which means they don't really need a launcher. They only need this tool. So in that case, using it becomes completely simple. So that's that. Now I'm going to try to log into the game and show you the result of this. Before I log back into the game and show you something straight inside of a trainer level, I'm going to show you something that it also did, which makes it usable for the Nexus 7. Again, for Oculus Rift users, that might be a problem for you because right now, no, I think it actually works. You can actually download OpenTrack, and there's a feature where you can actually use the Oculus Rift tracker in OpenTrack to make this work. In my case, I use a Nexus 7, so what I do is I have to emulate FreeTrack 2.0, which is what the game uses here. And here I have installed FreePy APK inside of my Nexus 7, which you can find here. Oh, if you're going to OpenTrack, you go into Client Files, FreePy UDP. So you have to install this APK, and then when you launch the app on your mobile device, you specify the IP address of your computer and the port of your computer, which is in my case 5555. You then have to open the firewall for that port, and then you have to set this up inside of OpenTrack as well. In my case, because of my using a Nexus 7, I have to set it up this way. So my yaw maps to yaw, pitch maps to roll, and roll maps to pitch. I have to put a +90 offset for the roll. In the key, I put a Shift F12 for recentering the screen. What else? In the mapping over there, I don't know if there's something over there. Oh, yeah, I have to invert the pitch as well. So as you can see, I did it by checking this checkbox over there. And that's it. So if you have OpenTrack installed, you just press start. It's going to hook up into, and you have the app running with the UDP packet mode enabled on your Nexus 7 device. And in the game, it looks like this. See, I'm basically moving my head around, and it follows you. There's a little lag. It's not as tight as a regular Oculus Rift, but personally, I prefer having a little bit more lag and a little bit more drift, and have better resolution and a better color vibrancy, which I feel is making the immersion better than the actual track. Although I know that a lot of people would beg to differ because they have when there's too much lag between what they're seeing and what their head is feeling, then they feel nauseous. In my case, it's not really a problem. So yeah. Okay, so now that the game is started, I'm going to start a target practice so that we can see the mod in action. So we're going to wait for the load screens to be loaded and to go away. At first, when this is on, okay, so here we go. We're in a asteroid field, basically in the rings of a planet, like Saturn or something like that. So, okay, right now we have some targets, but I'm not going to shoot them, or I'm just going to fool around a little bit. Purpose of this is to show you how the zoom works. So as you can see, I'm fooling around the zooms levels right now. So right now I'm close to the zoom level 4, and I'm trying to get to even more zoom. As you can see inside of the Oculus Rift now, I can see the targets pretty well and see the cannons. with all its barreled glory. As you can see, it's quite a sight to behold. Yes, this is something to behold indeed. Anyway, so as you can see, the canisters are all there. I'm sorry if it's a little bit jittery. Right now, I'm not really good at this game yet, and I'm still getting the hang of things, and my head is tending to move around a lot for nothing. So I'm sorry if, for Oculus Rift users, if okay, that wasn't. Oh. Just so that you know, I'm basically very much a newbie, so you know, please be gentle with me at this point. So anyway, I'm just going to play around a little bit, and we're going to zoom into some asteroids and show you how the zoom levels can give you a sense of how far the target is, and it also gives a very nice Battlestar Galactica effect, which I really like when you zoom in and out like this. Anyways, so yeah, flying around. As you can see, the warping is doing its job, so we really have something that's fitting for Oculus. No need to implement some kind of weird custom resolution on my screen to make this work. Okay, I'm going to try to leave the asteroid field so that we can get a very good look at the actual planet ring system. So we're leaving right now. This is something to behold, my friends. If you still don't have that game, I suggest you go and buy it fast, because I think it's truly one of the most unique experiences I've ever had until now. So yeah, but I'm just repeating what probably thousands of people have already said before, so nothing new here. But as you can see, I'm zooming in and out, and you know, in order to see the details of stuff, things. And as you can see, my menu is a little bit foggy right now, but zooming in now I can see pretty well what's written, and I can actually make the game usable even if I'm only using a DK1, or in my case an Nexus 7 attached to 2 lenses with a custom head tracker. So that's really what it is. As you can see, it's pretty useful to have. And okay, I'm just going to do something funny right now. I'm really not good at this game, so you might see a lot of spinning while I try to correct. I've watched some of the expert videos out there on YouTube. A guy called Isinona. But I'm really very much a newbie. I just got the game, so I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing right now. So sorry if it's a little bit wonky and wobbly. But yeah, just so you know, the zoom mod is very useful mainly to see the menus and see the dash when you're using something that's really low resolution and you can't really compensate for the imperfect, to say the least, anti-aliasing of the game itself. So yeah, it's pretty much useful for that kind of thing. However, just so you know, it's not really usable for cheats right now, because I put a cap so that the software knows when you're using a very high resolution monitor, not using a 3D device like an Oculus Rift, and it's not going to allow you to zoom as far as you would wish to. So it's going to limit you to the minimum. I think it's the 50 degrees field of view or something like that. So yeah, a message out there for the Elite Dangerous team. I'm not intending this as a cheat. It's really just so that my DK1 and people using a Jervis Dive and those kind of devices can actually play the game and make it usable. It's really not intended as a cheat, and I put some safeguards in there just to prevent this from happening. But in an ideal world, I guess that you know, developers, you could basically make this native inside of the game, and there's not going to be any need for my mod anymore. And that would be the best. So, you know, here's to you, my friends. Hopefully that's going to happen. I really like this game. I really like you guys, developers, and I hope that this is something that's going to make that DK1 kit that probably 50,000 of people right now have in their hands, and they can't really use it in game because of the resolution problem. So anyways, yeah, this is really something that would be great to have natively inside of the game, honestly. Okay, so now I'm just going to show you guys really fast what kind of settings I'm running right now. So as you can see, I'm running side by side, obviously not using the Oculus Rift mode because I don't have one. Plus, I'm not even sure that the zoom mod is going to work for the Oculus because my mod is basically changing the FOV parameter, and maybe that's fixed for the Oculus. I'm not sure. I never tested it, so if someone wants to give it a go, please do. Anyways, we're going to wait for that load screen again. We're going to play another training video right now. I mean, training level. The one where you're going to have to get out of the station and you have to get to hyperspace. I think it's going to showcase pretty much how one cannot live without that mod if one doesn't have something that's higher resolution enough, like the Oculus Developer Kit 2 or something like that. Anyway, so we're in the cockpit right now. We have a couple of options. We're going to get to the surface first. So this is the sound effects are wow, and you see I'm basically zooming right now, pressing my F keys, F1 to F5 keys to toggle zooming modes. We can actually see the cars spinning around the station, so yeah, very, very cool. Anyway, so I guess that's going to be time for us to launch soon. Hang on for a second there. I think I have some trouble with this. Okay, we see
ship release.
Launch.
Engines engaged.
I'm just going to try not to kill myself. It's not going to be that easy. Alright, so we get to the center of the station itself. Right now we're still rotating with the station, but as soon as we cross that door thing, we're going to have to compensate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in as fast as I can, just to avoid having that problem in the first place. Anyway, so it kind of works. Okay, so as you can see, I don't know if you see it, but we're still mass locked. So I have to wait for a little while. I'm basically boosting my ship so that I can get as far as possible. And okay, so the contact light has shut down, so now it's possible for us to get into hyperspace. So I'm going to have to go into the menu and select my destination, and this is when the zoom becomes really useful. So zoom level F2 and then F3 probably. It's going to be a little bit easier to see, so select the destination and then lock and engage hyperdrive. So option number 2. There you go. And now you have to, I don't know if you see the little circle, but you have to put that little blue circle in the center of your crosshairs. And with my low resolution, it's really hard to see what's going on here. So I'm zooming in to that dash feature, and it really helps out. And now for the first time, how does it look when you're in hyperspace while zoomed in? It looks like that. Pretty cool, eh? Yep. So there, and here it is. Alright. Now we have to select the arrival point. So just bear with me here, I have some trouble with my headset, so here it is. Okay, now it's more readable. So we lock the arrival point, and that's it. Now we have to center that destination inside of our crosshairs again. So I have some problem with my head tracking. Let's see if we can fix this. Oh, actually, oh, okay. This is why I have some problem. It's because of this COM thing that was activated, so I have to deactivate it. Deactivate it. Okay, so now my destination is locked. Okay, this might take a while. So basically it's kind of like, I wouldn't say the boring part of the game because I like the music that goes with it and all the special effects and everything, but usually the part where you are in what they call super cruise mode and you have to get into from point A to point B like I'm doing right now is a little bit longish. And moreover, when you get to somewhere, as you approach that location, you auto slow down, so it's kind of like you never quite reach the destination point unless you do what I'm doing right now and just fail completely and overshoot the target. Please don't do that, because then you have to twist around and redo the same thing, and that's a lot of lost time. Another detail that I really like about this game is how the strategy about the sound effects. When you slow down while you're in Super Cruise mode, the actual speed range is so tremendous that there's absolutely no way they could have used the same sound for acceleration or deceleration, so the whole gamut of velocity range, because using a regular approach would have yielded an unmanageable upper and lower pitch thresholds. So what they did, apparently, is that they do a fade in and fade out. So you have this, when you decelerate, you have this high pitched sound that goes down and down and down. And once it goes down enough, it fades out and it transitions with the same sound but pitch high. So you kind of have, I don't know if you have heard of those modern composers out there who do this little effect called the infinite scale, where an orchestra is playing a scale and it goes down and down and it never stops going down because of this precise fade in fade out strategy. So that's exactly what the game developers did, and I think it's pretty cool. Anyways, so we're approaching the station right now. We're at a distance of I don't know, about the radius of the Earth. Oh, I'm about to overshoot. Yeah, there it is. Okay, disengage Super Cruise. Where are we? We should be pretty close, about a couple hundred kilometers probably. Let's spin around and see if we can find that station, and see how far we are from the target. Here it is. Actually, we seem to be not that far. We can make out the outline of the station pretty well if we zoom in. And still, it says 161 kilometers, which means that station is huge. Let's see if I go to maximum speed, if it's going to help a little bit. It's going to take 11 minutes, 8 minutes. That's a long time to go. I could just cruise and talk about a lot of things right now instead of trying to get to the destination faster, but I'm just going to get back to Super Cruise instead. It's going to help a little bit.
4, 3.
We should skip the next 10 minutes that way. Okay, so back in Super Cruise. Now we disengage. There you go. We should be pretty close now. There we go. Alright, now it's a question of observing the station, how it's spinning, and determine where the entrance and exit ports are. So, as you can see, it's just spinning in such a way that we can determine the two ends of it. And so I'm going to try to get to where I think the entrance might be on the other side, by observing the spinning action. We should be able to make out a lot of billboards and stuff like that once we get to that entrance point. So let's see if this is the right entrance or exit. We're going to be able to know that very soon. I think we're seeing a lot of those billboard things, so this is probably the entrance. Yep. It's the entrance. Alright, so I'm going to decelerate so that I can align myself to the center. Now, okay, I think we've got Now I'm going to have to request docking. So that's where I am right now. Alright, let's see if I can do this. I can't seem to trigger that little menu thing. Is it because of the content? No. Let's see. What is going on? Alright, I think there's some kind of bug because I'm basically looking. So, yeah, this is one of the things that we can do. So with the zoom mod, you just press 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 and it locks into the menu screens. So it allows you to bypass the problem of head tracking if you have that kind of problem. Alright, so now that we have permission, we can attempt to land this thing. And I know that a lot of people are actually landing this thing way faster than I can do it right now, but I'm still a newbie, so I'm just going to try to make it really slow, just to make sure that I'm not going to get shot at by the station itself just because I'm loitering inside of the entrance or something like that. So it says here that I'm going to have a couple of minutes to proceed to the landing pad. If I fail, apparently I'm going to get shot, so guess I better not fail. See all the billboards. When you zoom in like this, you make out a lot of details inside of the Oculus Rift that we would have missed otherwise, so it's pretty cool. Alright, getting inside of the station, so we have to get to landing pad 13, it's right there. I'm going to try to land upside down. I don't know if I can do this. Basically driving up to the landing pad upside down until I get really close, and then I twist around. I zero my thrusters, and then I land using my laterals and up and down thrusters. It's not that hard because I'm using flight assist. As I said, I'm not ready to do the Sinona maneuvers or anything of that sort yet. I'm just trying to get the hang of the game and also playing with my little zoom mod that I made. So yeah, and admiring the graphics and the sound design and everything.
Docking successful.
Okay.
Engines
Seems that some
disengaged.
sparks were flying. Hopefully I didn't damage anything, but you know, a landing where you get out there alive is a good one, I guess. So that's it. That's the zoom mod, and now you see how useful it is. You've seen it in action in 2 training levels, so that's really what it is. So peace out, friends.